The president likes to call my mom a liar. What do the facts say?
The facts suggest that you
absolutely have a Native American ancestor in your pedigree.
Okay. And Trump can say whatever he wants about me, but mocking Native Americans or any group in order to try to get at me, that's not what America stands for. I'm not enrolled in a tribe, and only tribes determine tribal citizenship. I understand and respect that distinction, but my family history is my family history.
You know, you really just can't watch that enough. It really should be a screensaver. This hasn't, understatement of the day, been the fall Elizabeth Warren had hoped for. She thought that releasing a DNA test showing that she might have had a lone American Indian ancestor, not necessarily from this continent, a few hundred years ago, would silence the president and give her momentum going into the primaries next year. Instead, even the left is turning on her. Two pieces in the Washington Post and the New York Times in the past week suggest that Warren's campaign has been deeply, maybe even fatally wounded by the blunder of the DNA test. It looks almost like an effort to kill Elizabeth Warren's campaign before she can embarrass her party, the one to which everyone in the media belongs, before she actually runs. Mark Stein is an author and columnist. Not a conspiracy nut, but running this by him anyway. So what is going on? So obviously she is a media creation, not a genius, but she has been the subject of endless fawning profiles in the press, particularly from the Boston Globe, which has promoted her for years. And now they're attacking her. Why?
Yeah, that's interesting. The Boston Globe is saying to Elizabeth Warren, you have to know when not to run. And this is the paper that's wanted her to run until she got head faked into taking this DNA test that showed she was 1,024th Native American, which is less Native American than the average. I mean, you could test Kim Jong-un, Vladimir Putin, and they would be more than 1,024th Native American just because some Cherokee happened to change trains in Odessa in 1852 and got lucky with one of the porters. I mean, anyone's more Native American. And what's fascinating about this is that Elizabeth Warren was a test on the limits of Democrat identity politics, because their recent presidential candidates have been sold on identity politics, but in rather strange ways. So Barack Obama is an African American, but he has nothing to do with the black slave experience of civil rights.
Right.
He's black just because his father happened to be a British subject born in colonial Kenya. Barack Obama was actually the first child of British subjects to be president, I believe, since Andrew Jackson. So he tried to get himself in on the colonial thing. Obama said his step-grandfather in Indonesia had died fighting Dutch soldiers in the struggle for independence. In fact, it turned out his step-grandfather died when he fell off a chair while changing the drapes. That's not a joke. That's actually true. That's how his step-grandfather died. Then you have Hillary Clinton, who's running as a feminist icon, and is in fact only the candidate because she's the wife of the previous guy. And she was given a Senate seat as a reward for standing by him when his intern's dress wound up in the FBI crime analysis lab. So we have So in such a world, you can't blame Elizabeth Warren for saying, well, if Hillary could be a feminist icon, why can't I be the first Native American president? She was Harvard Law School's first woman of color. That's why it's not a family law thing. She actually was promoted as Harvard Law School's first woman of color. Why shouldn't she be America's first Native American president? This is none of this identity politics. Joe Biden should run as the first transgender woman candidate and dare the Democrat electorate to call him on it.
That was my plan. I hope he doesn't get there first. I'm doing that. You're the best. Mark Stein, we're out of time.
Thanks a lot,
I loved it. Thank you. We'll be right back.